America's industrial production had surpassed that of Britain, Germany, and France combined. The rapid growth of industry produced a number of splits in American life. Workers rose up to strike against the overwhelming power of their employers, demanding better wages and working conditions, and disrupting national production and transportation industries. Farmers clamored for the government to redress their grievances, banding together in a populist movement to demand reforms in America's economy and society. The progressive movement's goal was to increase democracy, involve citizens more directly, and improve efficiency, as well as regulate big businesses and protection of the consumer, by making life safer and much more comfortable to live and work. These instances brought upon radical ideals. The social gospel is one of these ideologies, which was led by Walter Rauschenbusch and Jane Addams, and they presented the idea that poor immigrants were not poor because of their genetic inequality, but because of their unequal social and economic conditions. This movement was in response to the previous ideology of social Darwinism, and the more recently developed the gospel of wealth, that stated that the wealthy thrived because of their natural ability to compete. Workers' conditions were trying to be improved through the work of McCrackers such as Upton Sinclair in his book The Jungle. The movement against Taylorism. President Roosevelt read Upton Sinclair's book in 1906, which described unsanitary conditions in the meatpacking industry. After this, he ordered a quick investigation forcing Congress to correct the situation. The Progressive Era was a reflection of the growing middle class. Since the working class favored revolutionary change, and the ruling class was content with all the changes in society as long as they allowed them to keep their positions of wealth and power. The political government was not laissez-faire. They became more involved in the economy in regards to business regulations and standards. This caused labor unions to be formed. The AFL was one of these unions who believed that workers should be treated better and focus on the bread and butter issues. Socialists argued for subsidized housing, pensions, labor reforms, and ownership of municipal services. Some tried to get rid of traditional democratic systems altogether, which included cities run by managers or commissioners based on credentials. Some states had progressive leaders and had more voting power to the public in regard to laws and politicians. Senators were elected by people rather than state legislators, according to the 17th Amendment. Others restricted voting power. The monopoly would price higher and produce less in a competitive market. This will maximize the profit for the monopoly firm. Consumers and workers did not like this, and so many of them joined worker unions to regulate these imbalances. This is when President Roosevelt stepped in. Roosevelt told Congress he opposed banning monopolies. Instead, he preferred that the federal government assume power of supervision, regulation, over all corporations doing interstate business. The trust speeded up mergers and eliminated competition among their members. They also concentrated control of national wealth in the hands of a few millionaire families. As monopolies, the trusts often could dictate whatever prices and wages they wanted, with little fear of competition. News of Roosevelt's antitrust lawsuit shocked business leaders, such as J.P. Morgan, who went to the White House to meet with Roosevelt. The Supreme Court majority found that all monopolies tend to restrain trade to deprive the public of the advantages that flow from free competition. So they regulated all the railroads that were being used by these bigger businesses. The outcome of the Progressive Era was the new laws that protected worker rights, amendments protecting women and children, credit restrictions on businesses, innovation in factories providing safety workers, and even voting rights for the people.